Child of Hale by Rachel Leong. There once was a man called the Child of Hale, who was as long as an oak tree and wide as a whale. During the night he'd get wet if it rained, for his feet dangled out of the window panes. He measured when standing some 9 feet tall, and the cottage he lived in was far too small. His head hit the rafters, his hands hit the floors, so he crawled round the house like a mouse on its paws. Till one day the child heard a tat-tat-tat-tat. He crawled to the window and asked, "Who is that?" "'Tis I," said the voice of his friend from the street. "The king is in Hale, and I think you should meet." With huffing and puffing, he squeezed out the door and followed his friend to a crowd by the shore. "Ah, child," said the folk as they beckoned him near, "the king is in Hale, and we think you should hear."
"Dear fellows of Hale,"
said the king to the crowds,
"I've heard there's a giant who touches the clouds, and now what I tell you, to him please repeat, for the king is in Hale, and the king he must meet."
"Please, sir," cried his friend as he pushed through the crowd, "I've already brought him." And the Child of Hale bowed.
My,
said the king as he stroked at his beard,
"you're a marvel of England."
And the crowd danced and cheered.
"The queen would adore you, and the queen you must meet. You can stay at the palace. I'll build you a suite. My wishes are final, I will not relent. You must come to London."
And to London they went. The child, on arrival, stood silent in awe. His suite was so big he could fit through the door. His chamber? Enormous. His bed? Bigger yet. He could now sleep in comfort and never get wet. The queen, as her husband had promised, went wild. She leapt in the air at the sight of the child. She ordered her tailors to make him some clothes. At last, he had trousers that reached to his toes. The child had no need now to crawl like a mouse. He didn't miss Hale or his cramped little house. He made friends with the princess and parents no less, and dined every day with the charming princess. Till one day the child heard a tat-tat-tat-tat. So he sat up in bed and he asked,
"Who is that?"
"'Tis I," said the king.
"Oh, come quick, Child of Hale. There's a man you must wrestle. You simply can't fail."
With huffing and puffing, he pulled on his clothes, including his trousers that reached to his toes. He followed the king to the ballroom, and there, to his shock, stood a wrestler as big as a bear.
"The bear,"
said the king,
"has come here for a bout, but you are a giant. You'll beat him, no doubt. The prize for the winner is silver and gold, and you are my giant, so do as you're told."
felt sad for her good friend the child. The giant was never so gentle or mild. She barely could watch as the bear made a rush and gripped the child's legs and attempted to push. But my, how amazing! Her fear was unproved, for the child neither wavered, nor wobbled, nor moved. The bear heaved and hustled and panted and pressed, but the child simply stood where he was, unimpressed. The bear grew exhausted, his energy spent. He collapsed in a heap at the feet of the giant. The king set off crying and sobbed through the din. The bear was unbeaten. I wagered he'd win. The princess was outraged. Her face grew quite pale.
Is this why you sold him and brought him from Hale to wrestle for money? Pray, have you no shame to misuse the trust of a giant so tame?
She fetched all the gold and she gave Childe the price. But nothing could dry up the tears in his eyes.
Oh my,
said the giant, how foolish I've been to leave little Hale for a king and his queen. To leave all my friends for a bed and some clothes. I'd rather have trousers that don't reach my toes. Kindness, you see, is what makes us stand tall, whether born in a palace or a house that's too small. There once was a man called the Childe of Hale, who was long as an oak tree and wide as a whale. And if, when in Hale, you should pass by his house, remember the giant who lived like a mouse. The end.